Hi everyone. I just was trying to be clever this morning and use Facebook's new scheduling system. And when I then tried to hit go live, it didn't happen. So I'm a couple of minutes later than I meant to be. But I hope you've managed to find me okay. And I wanted to see how you're doing today. Yeah, how are you getting on? How does it feel at the moment? And depending on how you're doing today, how do you feel about that? I'm going to be honest, I'm not feeling quite so good today. I'm tired, and my practice this morning was a lot shorter than usual. And if I'm entirely honest, if I hadn't made the commitment to be here with you at this point, I might not even have got on my mat this morning. But I did, and I'm here. And of course, it's completely inevitable that there are days we feel better than others, and days we feel more able to cope with what's going on. But it's also something, the thing I've been thinking about quite a lot in the last couple of days is how, so that, depending on your own situation, you may be finding this lockdown scenario easier than you expected or harder than you expected. But I'm going to talk a little bit today about those of us who, if we're totally honest, are finding quite a lot to enjoy about it. And I am in that category. Because having the time to slow down, to be more focused, to be more aware of what's going on can be a real gift. But I'm also finding that it's really easy if you are one of those people, if you're set up, if you are lucky enough, as I am, to have a nice home with plenty of food, and either to be in lockdown with the people that you love and want to spend time with, or to be able to do so in solitude, if that's something that you are actually able to handle. It's really easy to find oneself slipping into feeling guilty for finding things to enjoy about this very, very difficult situation. To see all the stories and the evidence of all the people out there who are really struggling. But feeling guilty is of no benefit whatsoever. Feeling guilty that I am not suffering in the way that some people are simply lowers my own vibration, makes me project negative energy out into the world. And the one thing that we can do is to be projecting more positive energy out into the world. So and I think there's a huge amount of guilt. I mean, the phrase survivor guilt is something we're all familiar with. And, further down the line, that's going to be something I'm sure that many of us will find ourselves experiencing. But as I say, this sense that actually, you know what, my life in lockdown is really pretty good. So I've got a choice, and I can feel guilty about the fact that that's how I am feeling today. Or I can choose to feel profoundly grateful for the fact that I am able to have this experience, that I'm able to turn this experience to good for myself. Because simply by increasing and improving my own vibration, my own feeling, my own sense of connection, I am adding to the vibration that's going out into the world. So that's my invitation to you today, depending on where you're coming from today. And if today isn't a good day for you, and if this doesn't resonate, then please just simply let my words go. And if you still feel moved to, join us for the sitting, the silent sitting, and be with that. But if my words have resonated today and you have found yourself tending to slip into feeling guilty about enjoying aspects or even most of this experience, let it go. And instead, really spend some time feeling into how grateful you are that this is giving you something that you needed. And that will help you in turn give those around you, near or far, something that they need. So with that in mind, if it's helpful, and releasing it if it's not, I invite you to bring your awareness to your feet. Feel your feet connecting to the ground, whether you're sitting on the floor or on a chair. If it's helpful, when you're on the floor, you might want to just move your sitting bones a bit so that you can really start to feel the sitting bones resting down, the feet connecting, so that maybe there's a bit of a sense of your spine being supported by your feet and your legs. You're not all floppy. And when that happens, then maybe you get a little sense of a lift in the breastbone. Maybe your shoulders can release and soften a little. Your hands can simply rest in your lap, on your knees, on your thighs, wherever is comfortable for you. And let your head simply balance on your spine. And if it's comfortable for you, let your eyes close, or just soften the gaze so that they're gently unfocused. And bring your awareness to your own breath. Simply notice how your breath is moving through your body right now. Be aware of the rise and fall of your chest, of your belly, of any other part of your body that is taking the breath in. The expansion of your rib cage. Here comes the dog. Allow the breath to simply find its way in and find its way out. Noticing where in your body it feels most present with each breath. And maybe it'll be the same every time, and maybe it won't. And when you find your mind distracted by a sound, a thought, a sensation in the body, simply notice what's taken it away, acknowledge that, and release it. And let your mind come back to your next breath. And when your mind has been distracted, notice what's happened in your body. Bring your awareness back to your feet for a moment. Find that sense of connection to the ground, the sitting bones resting down towards the ground or the chair. And as your spine feels a little supported again, that in turn will allow your mind to rest, to quieten just a little bit more. And each time your mind goes off, it's not a failure. You're not doing this wrong. However you're doing this, whatever is going on in your head, simply by sitting quietly like this, you are doing it perfectly. And it's not about teaching your mind not to wander. It's about gradually, day by day, becoming a little bit more aware, a little bit sooner, of when and where your mind wanders. And then letting that wandering thought go and coming back to your breath. And maybe you watch your breath for a single breath before your mind goes again, doing its own thing. Or maybe you manage several. It doesn't matter. The practice is in the noticing of the mind going off and the bringing it back. And maybe there are sounds around you that are distracting you, taking you away. And again, that's fine. Notice that that's happening. Allow the mind to acknowledge them, release them, and come back to the breath. And sometimes if a sound is all-encompassing and impossible to get rid of, you may want to shift your awareness for a little while to the sound itself. Not in a way of analysing it or listening to it, but just noticing the shape of the sound, what it really sounds like, going into the sound until it becomes just another experience. And then if it's helpful, you can stay with that, or you can go through the sound and out the other side and come back to your own breath. And again, bring your awareness back to your feet. Like your mind, like all of our minds, as our minds wander, so does our body soften, start to flop. So the spine becomes less upright. So coming back to your feet, feeling the connection into your feet, grounding yourself, resting down at the base of the spine, the sitting bones, and allowing the spine to find its own upright position again. Releasing the shoulders and letting the head simply sit there. All of these help bring you back to your body, back to your breath, back to maybe a moment of stillness. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. As always, feel free to stay with the silence if that's what feels right for you, or to leave it there and get on with your day. And I invite you, before you do anything else, to take a moment to write down 3 things for which you are grateful right now. And my first one is gratitude to you for keeping me accountable and getting me on my mat this morning. Namaste.